and the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Bonsall Pool and Spa's annual Spooktacular sale is here. Now through November 1st, get an extra $1,000 off hot tubs at an already low sale price and get $500 off the already low sale prices on infrared and traditional saunas. All hot tub water care products and accessories are also for sale for the Spooktacular sale, now through November 1st at Bonsall Pool and Spa at 33rd and Highway 2. Call for more info at 402-488-0148 or visit bonsallpool.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom! It is game day here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I suppose it's technically over up there in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, but one way or the other, the Huskers are playing, and we are excited about it. I'm Jake Bachman, Austin Orman in the studio with me here as DP is off to a different land, Vancouver, where he will be covering some UFC this weekend. We got people going everywhere. Of course, Nick out in Minneapolis as well. So good to hear some different voices today. We've also got the E1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, which will begin about 3 hours before kickoff. So I see we already got a question here. What time kickoff is? That will be 7 o'clock Central Time. So our pregame show will start at 4 o'clock, and that means we'd have to cut into old school. And that I mean, obviously, we can't just not have as much Austin as we can for the day. We can't take any time out. So, Austin, welcome aboard. Fun day to be on. You don't usually get a normal game day. I suppose we do on Black Friday, but not often do we get to do our shows on a game day.
I know, but here we are. It's beautiful. It's the blessing and the curse is that with all our games that we carry on the ticket, as well as some other programming. Yeah, old school kind of gets the boot sometimes, but you know what? That's all right, because gosh darn it, if I'm not going to be here filling in, getting my takes out there, and it's for a good cause. It's for pregame. People are going to hear enough of me today anyways, so they're stuck with me for this hour here in the morning, taking them up to lunchtime, but at least they still got you. That's the important part.
Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit as well. It is a Good Sense Friday, so we thanks our friends from Good Sense who are going to be helping us get nice and fed so we can get ready for this game as well. I asked you yesterday, Austin, I'll get your thought on this as well today, if Minnesota was a rivalry. I think we stopped a little bit short. It's kind of a weird, $5 Bits of Broken Chair trophy was acknowledged by Matt Rule on his podcast. Luke was eager to let me know that this morning. If you don't know, Luke from the Mill helped build that. He'll help build the $5 Bits of Broken Chair trophy. When I say help, I think he did the whole thing. But in one case, that'd be Luke. Yeah, it is. It is, if you're looking for the whereabouts of that, one of my favorite trophies in college football. It is on its way, he told me, up to Minnesota. So the winner will be getting that. And I guess I don't know where it has been, because Minnesota's had that trophy for a while. So I suppose maybe it traveled back here and there just for some appearance's sake. But hopefully Nebraska is able to take that home. I guess my question to you, though, now is, after 5 straight losses to PJ Fleck, I mean, we go through all these things. Nebraska's being able to get over the Wisconsin hump, obviously going to the bowl games. Nebraska could be bowl eligible today, by the way, if they win. Do you consider there to be a PJ Fleck hump? Or, it is one way or the other. It's there, right? It's 5 games. Or would you put that pretty low on the list of Nebraska's problems?
No, it's there. It's absolutely there. The game that I think sticks out in the minds of most people is that 2020 COVID game. Minnesota came in with like 50 players available. They had fewer guys on their travel roster than some high school teams did that year. It was crazy. And that Minnesota team came in, I know, a different era, and I'm not putting this on Matt Rule, but I think that game is most indicative of everything. Minnesota's just always found a way to beat Nebraska, right? Wisconsin had been more talented than Nebraska at times. Iowa's put more guys in the NFL draft than Nebraska. Minnesota has been about the same. Yeah, they've had some maybe bigger name guys and guys that have certainly gone on to the NFL draft. But between that COVID game and really, I think the game that kicked off the Matt Rule tenure there in 2023, another weeknight game up in Minneapolis, it was the turnovers. It was the finding ways to get in the way. It was still having a chance late. And then I think it was Malcolm Hartsock bit to the inside instead of staying outside to allow that nice pass and catch from Cali McManus to his receiver for the touchdown. It was the big things and it was the little things that I think all come to a head against Minnesota, who's sure maybe had more talent at times than Nebraska. And it's manifested in one-score games, right? They've been, quote unquote, culture wins, discipline wins, Minnesota being Minnesota wins. And so while Minnesota, this year is not what it's been in years past, and you can say that about a bunch of those teams that Nebraska hasn't gotten over the hump against, it really feels to me like this is another business trip, another take care of business win for Nebraska. Not a should win. I don't think that we're to the point where you can just chalk it up as an automatic win for Nebraska, because Minnesota has ways to beat Nebraska. But I think Husker fans are much more confident in Nebraska not beating itself in a game like this. And no better time than the present to cross another, curse. Now the Matt Rule would call it that, but, another unfortunate losing streak off the list. There's no better chance than right now. This is a golden opportunity, a Marudin golden opportunity, you might say, for Nebraska to do that. So it's on the list. It's not number one, but it's one of the more inexplicable ones.
Yeah, it's interesting. Of course, I always go back to kind of the Steve Peterson quote of not letting the conference fall to Texas and Oklahoma. And ever since then, it's just been a little bit dropping off from time to time. When you get to the Big Ten, you say, okay, well, I want to compete with Michigan State and Ohio State. And then Wisconsin and Iowa are getting in the way. Then eventually Northwestern and Minnesota. And, so it's just like, man, everybody is been a dagger in the side of Nebraska football, unfortunately. And when everybody's doing it again, that's when you want to look inward, maybe look at the mirror. Maybe it's yourself. Maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe it's yourself. And Nebraska hopefully has fixed that problem. I was thinking about that game because I did go to the first Matt Rule game, and I remember too, it was not just, the pain of that too was not just that touchdown catch there at the end. It was fourth down, if you remember. On third down, Nebraska had the chance to get an interception in the end zone. It was just dropped. You're thinking, man, that could have sealed the game. All right, but they still got a long fourth down. This is going to be difficult for them to pick up, and they were able to do so. Of course, if you remember too, as part of that game, Anthony Grant going into the game, we talked about, had been talked about as a guy that fumbled quite a bit in the preseason, and they fumbled on that drive. Wasn't a game of fumbles. It was a game of interceptions. 3 interceptions, of course, from Jeff Sims is 2. The one touchdown pass he had as a Husker was in that game on a gimmick play.
I still don't think he actually saw Alex Bullock.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I mean, first of all, think about how close that play was to going wrong. If not for a fortunate bounce, that play never happens. I still don't think Jeff Sims did anything other than I don't think he actually set his feet and saw where Alex Bullock was and threw it to the end zone. I think he just threw it downfield to get rid of it, and Alex Bullock happened to be there.
Or he just knew kind of where Bullock was supposed to be.
Yeah. Screw it, I got to get it out of my hands. Here we go.
Yeah. So I mean, that was quite a game. Obviously, put a bit of a damper on the beginning of the Matt Rule tenure, but Nebraska, of course, as part of the stuff that the things that have gotten in the way of Nebraska too is just a 1-0 start.
Right.
And Nebraska has been able to do that now this season, obviously in 5-1. And it is a bit weird too to talk about the fact that Nebraska get to a bowl game. I almost don't acknowledge that so much. It's like, well, yeah, that's part of the goal. They've got a lot more ahead of them to do than that. But I was thinking walking into again to work today, it's like, all right, but at the same time, and I get that idea, and there's hopes of much more than just getting to the Pinstripe Bowl this year. Today could be very big as far as even since 2016, cementing this as the second best season halfway through, and it goes certainly potential to be the best season for Nebraska since 2016.
Absolutely. And I think it's a testament to the job that Matt Rule has done in turning around this program, that it's not a bigger deal that Nebraska could become bowl eligible tonight, or at the very least with its next win. If Nebraska is not bowl eligible by the end of October, something went horribly, drastically wrong, and that's a problem. But the odds are good with Nebraska having 2 cracks yet in October to get bowl eligible. That's going to happen. I don't think it's program crushing. I don't think everything comes crumbling down. I think it's certainly unfortunate and disappointing if Nebraska loses tonight. But there hasn't been that conversation. Oh, PJ Fleck owns us. Oh, this is going to be tough to get over the hump. Yeah, let's get bowl eligible next week against Northwestern. I really think the conversation has been, hey, this team's in a good place. They got a chance. They got an opportunity. That's all you can ask for in a game like this against a team that's really owned you over the course of the last few years. Last handful of you, last decade, really, is the last time Nebraska went on the road and won in Minneapolis. And, of course, they're 1-6 against PJ Fleck since he came to the Twin Cities. But I think that is, again, just a credit and a testament to Matt Rule that, yeah, it seems like they're handling business so far. I said going into the year, and especially once Nebraska got off to that hot start, the proving ground for this program, I think, will really be November, where Matt Rule is 1-7. September's fine. October's been run-of-the-mill. November's been bad. Nebraska has a chance to set itself up for a special November, but it's got to continue with a win tonight.
Yeah, it is interesting too, because I think you hit on it a little bit there, is what would a loss mean? And we don't want to think about that. I understand this game day. Don't get into that discussion. But, I think a lot of it, because Nebraska's been favored, because Nebraska's ranked, for the first time this late in the season in quite some time. And because of the biggest thing is the Matt Rule kind of, I don't want to call it the Matt Rule sideshow because it's no fault of his own. But the Penn State rumors with Matt Rule going on has made us kind of all together feel like, okay, we've arrived, right? I mean, we're there. We got to be. And then I think a loss tonight could bring you back to earth quite quickly. You mentioned it. I don't think it would be earth crushing. It might not be the end of the world, and certainly not the end of the season. Nebraska would still have a lot to play for, but man, would it be bringing you back to earth.
It really would, because it's Minnesota. And that's where I think this game does mean a little something, where, yeah, it's nameless faceless, but I think fans would be pretty pissed, pretty frustrated if Nebraska didn't find a way to pull off a win in this game tonight, because then it would be, gosh dang it, why is it Minnesota? Of all the teams, and I mentioned with you yesterday, Minnesota found a little bit of devil magic against Rutgers. It's still in there. It's still in that program. But the best part, I think, for Husker fans is that Husker fans' head coach doesn't believe in that stuff. If they go out and they play a good game, they like their chances of the scoreboard ending up where it should be. 5-2, I think, would still be on schedule. Maybe it would feel a little bit behind schedule, but I think it would be, in the range of still being right where Nebraska needed to be at this point. 5-3 is a different conversation, but anything from, 7-1, 6-2, I think is the worst case for Nebraska entering November. That's fine. You're where you need to be at the very least.
Yeah, and the opposite side of that is, if you do get a win, then you're looking at Northwestern thinking that's a winnable game, and then you're thinking 7-1 going into November. And with USC obviously being November 1st, you get not too much time to think about it. You jump right into it in November there. But that would be huge for Nebraska. And we talked about this stretch from Michigan State to Northwestern kind of all off season. It's like, okay, these aren't giants that, this isn't going to, like you said, kind of make or break the season as far as nationally getting attention and all that sort of stuff. But I'll admit, even looking at this schedule, we're only 2 games through it, so I don't want to speak too soon, but preseason, it's like, it's hard. It's been a long time since Nebraska can look at games they should win and mark them down as W's, as opposed to saying, all right, well, there's 4 gettable games, 2-2, maybe, and so at worst, you don't want to go to 1-3 in those games. Obviously, Nebraska will not. But how much how much do you believe that Nebraska is kind of over that, should be able to win games that we see on paper, or at least the last couple of weeks they've been favored to win, favored again here tonight against Minnesota, because it's been a wild ride the last 2 weeks. Talk about just in terms of swings of the game in scoring bunches. Both games, Michigan State and Maryland, it was like a wild, just again, like a wild ride, as each team was scoring at least 14 in chunks. And so, going into this game, there's this narrative out there for Nebraska, and it should be, they've earned it, that maybe they're over that sort of thing, and they can kind of take down these formidable opponents that, aren't quite, maybe, not top 25, not where Nebraska should fear them. Again, where games you're favored in. At the same time, there's been moments in each of the games the last 2 weeks where you're going, oh boy, here we go again, but they get around it. Is the oh boy, here we go again much of a fear heading into tonight for you?
Well, there's probably going to be a moment like that in the game where, okay, yeah, Nebraska is teetering, Nebraska is wobbling. Can they take the punch and stay standing? Because when I think about the word should win, yeah, Nebraska was favored. Nebraska's probably a little deeper on both sides of the ball. And guess what? Nebraska found a way to win the game. But I think when fans hear Nebraska should win, they think that's, okay, Nebraska will be up at halftime, they'll put the game away in the third, and then keep them at arm's length in the fourth quarter. That's not what's happened the last couple of weeks for Nebraska against Michigan State and Maryland. So yes, Nebraska handled the should win part of it by winning the game. But that's where I think I would call those, Nebraska has a good opportunity to win. Nebraska could win. And maybe could is a little pessimistic sounding on its face. But when I say Nebraska could win these games, it's, yeah, if Nebraska plays its game, if Nebraska takes care of itself, Nebraska is going to be in a good position. But when I think of a game that Nebraska should win, it's something, 30-something to teens, 40-something to teens, 20-something to single digits, where the game's never really in doubt. We can't forget the other guys are on scholarship too, that whole cliche, because, yeah, Nebraska is better this year than it's been for a couple years. But you saw what Michigan State did. Even if that's not a great team, it was a good enough team to beat Nebraska. Same thing with Maryland. Might not be a perfect team, but it was good enough to beat Nebraska. If a team is good enough to beat Nebraska, legitimately, you don't have to talk yourself into 17 things going wrong for Nebraska to lose the game. That to me is a Nebraska has an opportunity. A Nebraska could win this one. to me, I put Northwestern more in the Nebraska should win category, whereas Minnesota's in the Nebraska ought to, Nebraska could win if they play the type of game we've seen Nebraska play recently.
Yeah, I like that take, especially on the road. Nebraska, too, with Minnesota, if you're kind of looking at this, I think the game started off this week at a 5.5 point open as far as the spread goes. Got as high as to 8.5. I think it's at 7.5 right now, at least according to ESPN.com. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We got plenty more to talk about here on a game day. My favorite, or one of my favorites, I will say, one of my favorite trophy games in college football in the Big Ten, the $5 Bits of Broken Chair Trophy. I was shouted out from the rooftop with my lungs because I love this game. I love this day. We'll talk more about it when we come back on One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
If the power is out, traffic lights might be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a four-way stop. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Drink locally and support local business during Lincoln's Craft Beer Week, October 11th through the 18th. Great beer, cider, distillates, and more are made right here in Lincoln. For more info, visit lincoln.org/beer-week. Brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel. You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on One-on-One on 93.7 The Ticket. Once again, it is game day. Happy game day to everybody out there. Nebraska taking on Minnesota. And we got plenty to talk about as we get ready for that game. Big game for both teams, but more for our focus here with the Huskers. I know we talked about it yesterday. At least you talked about it as news broke, Austin, but I didn't get a chance to talk with you about the Curt Cignetti extension with Indiana the other day. Coming as somewhat of a surprise, at least to me. Of course, Indiana doing the right thing, keeping their guy in town, and very interesting timing. Of course, it also might reflect on some of the other bigger names that are out on the market, and people might we see a similar thing with Matt Rule? I'll go first to go ahead and say what I've said all along is that, and I know I've listened to you. I know you were kind of on the same path here. Is that I would not necessarily jump to do such a thing. Curt Cignetti, obviously in a different situation than Matt Rule is. If time goes on and it looks like Matt Rule is more and more going to be one of the front candidates for Penn State or another job, which certainly is a possibility. If he's going to be, 9-10 win type of season, there might be some other teams calling. I think then you might lock him down closer to Penn State week, closer to Iowa week. But not necessarily would do it now.
It's not that Matt Rule doesn't deserve it. It's not that Matt Rule hasn't done a good job. That's not at all the conversation I'm trying to have. It would be perfectly normal for Matt Rule to get an extension now. And if he doesn't get one, that's really bad agent work. Really bad agent work. If you can't parlay all of this into even an extra 2 years and a little bit of a pay bump, like that'd be unthinkable if Matt Rule doesn't get anything out of this. But if I'm Troy Danon, we have to find a middle ground. I know that Danon wasn't the one that hired Matt Rule. I get it. It wasn't Dannon's guy, but clearly they have a good working relationship. They get along. Seems like they're aligned on a lot. So the easy thing to do is to just take the agent's word for it and say, yep, here's whatever you want. But I don't think that's necessarily prudent for Nebraska right now. And the main point that I've been making to that effect is you got to reward the coach for doing a good job. But at some point, if your coach keeps saying, we need more money to spend on the roster, we need more money to spend on the roster, it's going to be about investing in the roster, investing in the players. At what point do you believe him and say, okay, put your money where your mouth is? This money that you could have going to you personally could actually reflect better on you if you want it to go to the roster. Let's say Nebraska is going to give Matt Rule, I don't know, let's say, a 3-year extension. His current rate, an average of $8.5 million per year. Of course, that's escalating up to nearly 11 by the end of things. But if Matt Rule was going to get an extra, $2 million a year for the next 5 years, well, there's $10 million. Even if it's an extra $1 million for the next 5 years, there's $5 million that you could spend on the roster. And I think that's another way that maybe Nebraska could be, quote unquote, innovative in the space, is to be one of the first college programs to say, we be careful how I phrase this. We understand your value to us. We understand that you're a good coach. We respect that. But we think the best way to keep Nebraska competitive and to keep you competitive, to build your own personal legacy, is to give you enough money that you feel fairly compensated, but not go above and beyond, because we can spend that money other places, whether it's facilities, most likely on the roster. So yes, reward your coach. Do what you need to keep him around. But at some point, coach salaries are going to come crashing down when people realize just how much money it takes to invest in a roster and win. And I think Nebraska could be ahead of the curve by saying, hey, Matt Rule, we'll give you enough money to maintain your current lifestyle. Maybe you make a slight tweak here or there. But the best way for you to continue to be successful, the best way for Nebraska to continue to be successful, is to pay you enough to make you comfortable in the lifestyle that you want to live, but not go above and beyond and tie up extra money, in the coaching staff. Maybe add some of that to the coaching staff pool as well. I think that certainly goes along for the ride. But especially, too, not that Matt Rule's at any risk of this happening, but we know, Bach, over the last 20 years, how much money Nebraska spent on buyouts.
Mm-hmm.
For Solich, for Callahan, for Pelini, for Riley, for Frost. There's a lot of money tied up there. And I think in just a risk mitigation mindset, Nebraska has to say, we can't afford to have this much potential money tied up in one guy who's been very good for Nebraska in a lot of ways in Matt Rule. But I think Matt Rule would also tell you the program's bigger than one guy. It has to be bigger than one guy. And I think Husker fans have been disillusioned of that mindset because it was, if Scott Frost can't do it, who can? Well, it's not anymore. If Matt Rule can't do it, who can? I don't think the mindset from Husker fans is, if Matt Rule leaves, Nebraska's screwed. It wouldn't be great. There's certainly risk in a coach leaving, always. But it's not the end of the world if he takes another job, whether it's because he gets fired from not doing a good job for Nebraska, which again looks increasingly unlikely. And in fact, Nebraska would get a little kickback from Rule / a different school if he does end up leaving and not be on the hook for all that money. I just think in this day and age, it is so risky to tie up, potentially tens of millions of dollars in one guy, when giving that guy the best chance to succeed looks like taking a little bit maybe off the top of his paycheck and reinvesting it in his coaching staff and the players, the labor, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of different ways to do the math, of course. That might be I like that idea until maybe you start talking about upgrading the stadium again. Then you're like, well, wait a minute. What about me? So, it can be interesting to see what kind of moves on there. I just think the whole Penn State rumor circulating, I've said for the longest time about this. Well, I guess not the longest time, just this past week, but is that you kind of have to let things play out. As of right now, Matt Rule is a trending upward candidate, but he's not one that I would hire based off what I've seen just yet. If I'm Penn State, right, you want to see this play out, want to make sure that year 3 at Nebraska is the year 3 jump, that this, is continuing. And so, I think that's the most interesting part about all of this. And so in the same way, I don't want Nebraska, just because Penn State is the odds are, just because there's a connection to Penn State, right, and that Matt Rule's doing all these, different TV and radio, by whatever, podcast deals, is there still work to be done on the field this season, especially starting with tonight, might not end up being the big year 3 jump that we see. We see Nebraska in the top 25 now. to our point earlier, to our conversation earlier, are they in the top 25 at the end of November? That will really tell us if this is a successful season or as successful as a season needed for him to really get outside interest and therefore needed to get a contract extension at Nebraska.
A couple things from the text line here. IQ Crew agrees if Brady Manning Elway took less to pay others on the team, Rule could restructure an extension for a few more years while paying a little bit more for Rule and a lot more for the roster. I don't know what Matt Rule's about. Seems like he's about the right stuff. And I've said on this show and many others, I'm not going to fault anyone for going to get their money. You're not a coach forever. You're not in your profession forever. If you can get that bag, essentially, go do it. More power to you. I do think, though, that a little altruism goes a long way. A little big picture thinking goes a long way. I don't know what the difference, between $8.5 million a year and $11.5 million a year looks like in practice for someone here. Sure, it's absolutely generational wealth. I don't know if Matt Rule's going to spend it on himself and his family now, or if he's a guy that would invest it and it's going to be there for his great-great-grandkids down the line someday. I don't know. It's none of my business. I don't care. It is very easy for me to sit here and mess with other people's money. Oh, it's easy for you. You make this many million, Matt Rule. Go ahead and push a little bit off to the side. That's got to be easy for you. It's not. I'm sure it's not. I can't imagine that it's easy to make that decision. It's easy for me to say I think it would be the right decision, but it's not my decision to make.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And like you're kind of saying, I always thinking in terms of that too. If you think of it, you even if it's just a few million, if a guy already has, millions and it's you can look at it from the outside and say it's just a few million. Well, again, to your point, that can really alter another generation of his, maybe like you said, maybe his grandchildren are set as of right now with what he's got. Maybe he can make sure his grandchildren's children are set,
Right.
So, I mean, every $1 million that you add on there, none of it's too small. All that being said, I mean, it was a bit interesting at the Husker games. I can't remember what the amount was. Maybe it was $100,000, something like that, where he's just, it was somebody was doing the push-ups. I'll throw in an extra 50, 100,000, whatever it was,
Right.
if he could do, 10 more of them. And I thought that was good because it all went to, it went to teammates, which what better, cause to go from, some local kids in need. At the same time, it made me feel pretty small. I was like, oh man, I could pay off my house with that money. And he just
Like
throws
that.
it away and, just 10 seconds there, doesn't say go. So like you said, it depends on the person, depends on the individual. The other part of the Cignetti part, and that we might hit on, I'll take a quick break here, but I do want to get your thoughts on, I was fascinated. I mean, if he ended up at Penn State, I would have been fascinated to see what he can do with a giant instead of building what he's doing at Indiana. So I want to get into that conversation because it is awesome to have stability. It's awesome to get the Frank Beamers, the Bill Snyders, those stories, and maybe Indiana for the next 2 decades can be great. But I'm still sitting here wondering what would happen if Bill Snyder or Frank Beamer took a Texas job. So we'll talk about that coming up next year on One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket.
Parkview Animal Hospital and Corn Coast Brewing Company invite you to join them October 18th for Ales Helping Tales at Corn Coast Brewery in Lincoln. Enjoy a limited edition brew available at both Corn Coast Brewing locations in Lincoln and Omaha, as a portion of the proceeds will go to support Brave Animal Rescue in their efforts to help find dogs and cats their forever homes. Parkview Animal Hospital will be on location with great raffle prizes and helping bring awareness about pets in need. They hope to see you there.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
If the power is out, traffic lights might be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a 4-way stop. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Midwest Bank is proud to serve Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank making local decisions, supporting community organizations, and helping businesses succeed with 10 locations throughout the state, from Wisner to Deschler, Norfolk to York, and right here in Lincoln too. Whether you're opening a checking account, buying your first home, in need of an ag loan, or in search of cash management services for your business, we're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket. DP is out today. He's off to Vancouver. He's traveling north to go to some UCF or UFC fights. I had to have Scott Frost on the brain. That happens to everybody in broadcasting. I feel like it happened to me.
I would probably be just as entertained by UCF fights as I would UFC fights, to be completely honest.
You're not wrong there. It's funny. Adam the other day was playing a trick on me. He said he chimed in on the Matt Rule rumors to Nebraska, and I said, really? I was like, Matt Rule to Penn State. I was like, yeah, I don't think that would happen, but it's Scott Frost we're talking about here, and he definitely has opinions. So it's just kind of funny what you can believe with that, but we'll see. I mean, it's all in good fun from here. Again, Nebraska, Minnesota this evening. We got our A1 ticket tailgate pregame show starting at 4:00. Up until then, well, we're basically pregaming the pregame show, but we've got our normal shows on today on a game day. So it is going to be a fun day here on a Good Sense Friday. Thanks to Good Sense, they just dropped off our food. Always go for the pepper bread if you're a pepper fan.
Wise man.
Yeah.
And it took me a year and a half to realize that.
Did it really?
It did.
I double up. I Dr. Pepper with my pepper bread. So
there we go.
Plenty of pepper here on a Friday. We went to a break. We were talking about Curt Cignetti's big session that he got from Indiana yesterday. Of course, this with speculation that he might be the front runner for not just the Penn State job, but any job. I mean, everybody's kind of thinking he's the number one guy, maybe number two if you still want to bother Nick Saban, but number one guy to call on the open market. And I kind of posed this question. You guys can respond to 402-464-5685. Would you like to have seen Cignetti, who's kind of just taken college football by storm? Would you like to have seen him at a powerhouse to see what he could have done, or do you like the fact that he's kind of staying where he built it, where he built it up? They gave him a chance. He is going to go ahead and give them an opportunity to keep him and see what his program can become. It's a bit refreshing, obviously, in this day and age, I suppose, at least if you look at it from that side. But I was really intrigued to see, if a Florida job comes open or the Penn State job, what Cignetti might be able to build at a place, as he put it with Indiana. Just give me kind of average resources here, and I can build something special. Given Florida or a job like that, a Penn State job that could come open. I mean, I would be really intrigued to see what he can do, but it doesn't always translate to. Sometimes coaches are the best at getting more out of somebody with less and pushing them rather than just straight up coaching the best to the best of their abilities. So doesn't, as we know, no assurances. There's no definitive way to know what would happen if he did leave. But I kind of wanted to see it in this case, and maybe it's because I'm not enough of a Hoosiers fan or something like that. But I would have liked to see Cignetti with a possibility at a bigger school.
0739. Cignetti can still be bought out of his contract. Well, his contract is fully guaranteed if he's fired without cause. So that's a big win for his agent, and that's going to be a lot of money to buy out the remaining years of a coach, or even just the leaving fee. Here's the thing. Would it have been interesting to see Curt Cignetti at Penn State? Yes. Maybe Florida, is another job that could be coming open. Shoot, even Cignetti at Virginia Tech, I think intrigues me. But I think it's that Virginia Tech point, Bach, that informs my overall sort of perspective on this. And that's that, love him or hate him, I do think, just from a fan perspective, every college football fan base, short of Iowa and Texas, deserves a golden age. And so that's why, as much as, Cignetti pisses people off in Nebraska for not doing it the same way or not having the same level of success, good for Indiana fans. I hope that Indiana fans are excited, are in the moment, are exuberant, continue to rally behind their team in the golden age, because it won't last forever. Just look, 10 and 11-hour drive down the road back to the West to see that the golden days and the glory days don't necessarily last forever. I hope fans are in a good mindset where they're not arrogant about it. Oh, we earned this. We deserve it. We waited so long. Look at us. We're the best. We're always going to be the best. There's a very dangerous line to walk. Indiana is not and will not ever be a college football blue blood. That's not to say they don't deserve an era of success or to enjoy the era of success that they're in. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about what could have happened if Cignetti would have taken a bigger job than Indiana. But Virginia Tech fans deserve the Beamer era. Even then, I didn't like 2 of the wins that they had against Nebraska, but good for them. They deserved it. You think about, even Arkansas and Bobby Petrino back in the day, kind of a golden era after the Broyles era for them. UCLA didn't really have a golden football era necessarily, but I hope those fans get a coach that gets them to whatever they consider glory. I think that's just good for the game regionally to be able to say that, yeah, there are going to be these different pockets of the country where there's going to be a regional power for a while. Maybe Oregon's in the middle of that right now. Good for those fans. Every fan base deserves a golden age, even if some of us might like to see, a really good coach go take a, closer to a traditional power or a blue blood job just to see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting though too, because when I look at certain jobs, I think they have the power with the right coach behind them to be quite frightening for what they can do as far as, kind of holding down some of those regional spots and the rest of the teams. That's someone texted in, he'd rather see, more parity, more teams, not just the same 8, 10 teams at the top or whatever. But that's what I think. Even like Sark, and I think Sark's a fine coach, but Sark at Texas doesn't like hold down college football like maybe a Nick Saban or a Kirby Smart or somebody like that would. And so when one of those Florida or Texas or USC jobs come open, like Clay Helton, when USC hired Clay Helton, it was a sigh of relief in my mind. Not that he's a bad coach, it's just not what really it doesn't seem to have the same type of sort of ceiling as some of the top names going to those big schools.
Well, we can even think about it kind of in this sort of way, right? I mean, you think about, going from Tom Osborne, who ran the sport in a lot of ways as a big name coach. Spurrier got close, I guess. Fulmer in the conversation. Bobby Bowden, you can make the argument for, and plenty of other guys across the country. I'm not saying everything. But then from Tom Osborne to Nick Saban, maybe in 2007, kind of a power vacuum there in college sports for who's the leader, who's the figurehead, who's leading that sort of program. Kirby Smart hasn't really taken that mantle because he did all his work while Nick Saban was still there. Kirby's got to prove he's the guy in a post-Saban era. Could it be Dan Lanning? Remains to be seen. But I wouldn't be surprised if it takes us 5, 7, 10 years to figure out who that next kind of figurehead of the sport in terms of the head coach is. Think about it, we're coming up on that with LeBron on his way out the door. You go from MJ to a little bit of a gap to LeBron. And then there's probably going to be a little bit of a gap as people jostle and try to figure out who is the next face of the NBA. Because even, your Jokers, your SGAs, LeBron's still there. Right now, they're both Kirby, winning the titles like they did. It's going to take 5 years till you get that next generational sort of figurehead in the NBA. And I think the same goes for college football coaches.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see who steps up there. If you look at, the big part of that is like a Pete Carroll running off to the NFL. Harbaugh, even this past example, running off to the NFL, is that could always be a possibility too. That'll wrap it up for One-on-One. Adam Carricker coming up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done.